Hello, this is Blue Joe Saunders, WBO middleweight champion of the world. Subscribe to Sport and Icons to stay in touch with all the top news. God bless you all.
So the IBF super middleweight champion James Degale has advised against George Groves coming back too soon to try and make the final of the World Boxing Super Series against Callum Smith. Now, as we all know, James Degale was out for quite a while with shoulder surgery himself, and he came back after only 6 months and lost to Caleb Truax. He lost his title and has since revenged it over in America and got his title back. And this is what James Degale said to George Groves. "My shoulder coming back after 6 months was just stupid. After I had my operation, the surgeon said next year now, as in 2018, to come back. I was like, oh man, I need to fight. He said, well, some people come back after 6 months, but it depends how you feel. Once he said 6 months, that fell in December, and no one was going to tell me I wasn't going to be fighting in December. You can't rush your fitness or injury back. It's the shoulder, it's not like your knee. You can see my first fight with Truax that firstly I wasn't fit and I was pouring with my jab. There was no strength. There was nothing. I was flat. There was no movement. It wasn't me in there. It was horrendous. As soon as the bell went, I threw my left hand and missed it. And I was like, oh no, it's going to be a long night. But it's all part of the story. People will remember me coming back and winning back the title from the same guy." That is James Degale's statement. The article does finish with a decision on the final for the World Boxing Super Series against Callum Smith will be decided early this week, with potentially Chris Eubank Jr. stepping in as a replacement. So, to cover off James Degale's statement, this could be two reasons. Number one, he could be telling the entire truth in this one and seriously advising George Groves, don't come back if you're injured because you could end up losing like what I did. On the flip side, he could be saying that because what he doesn't want is George Groves to go into the final, win the final and accomplish more than what James Degale has. That would be a bit of a sickening blow to James Degale, considering that he doesn't like George Groves. So there could be that reason, but the way that James Degale is going on about in his first fight with Caleb Truax, all he was talking about in the build-up to this is saying, my shoulder is so much better than ever, I can throw it hard and I'm strong and it's brilliant, and then suddenly he loses and then, oh yeah, it's my shoulder. Really? How about Caleb Truax just beat you up? How about that one? Because you're not that good anymore. Now, don't get me wrong, I like James Degale, but sometimes when you're on the decline, you kind of stay on the decline. Even in the rematch, didn't look that good. Okay, so for me, I'm not convinced that he lost that first fight against Caleb Truax because of his shoulder. Truly, I'm not. As I said, I do like him and I don't want to be kicking the boot in or anything, but for me, I don't think the shoulder had anything to do with it. He just underestimated Caleb Truax and got beat up for it. He went in there with the wrong game plan, overestimated him, all that kind of thing, or underestimated him, I should say, and just got beat up and lost convincingly. Because he thought that he won that fight. But he didn't. By a landslide, he didn't. And in the rematch, again, didn't look that good. So for me, I don't take too much stock in what James Degale says. I mean, there is some truth to it. I mean, of course, if George Groves, who's one of his biggest weapons is his jab. So if his shoulder is not 100%, certainly he should not come back, risk it, and ultimately, potentially end his career. But we do know George Groves, he wants to wind down his career real soon, and by winning the World Boxing Super Series, that will cap it off. Anything else after that is a bonus, and not only that, he's getting paid a whole lot of money. So if he doesn't enter the final and ends up going to fight somebody else a few months later on, he'll probably get a whole lot less money. He hasn't achieved to be the winner of the Muhammad Ali Trophy, the World Boxing Super Series, and won't be getting paid anywhere near as much, and could end up retiring after then anyway. So he may want to come back, injured or not, to fight Callum Smith, but I'll have to wait and see on that one, of course. So anyway, drop your thoughts about James Degale's statement. Do you think that he's right about his shoulder and his advice to George Groves is genuine? Or do you think that he just is making an excuse for losing the first fight? I mean, again, right at the very end where he says that people will remember me winning against the same guy in the rematch to get my title back. Not really. Not really. I remember the first fight, to be honest, more. So Anyway, drop your thoughts below, click that thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.